Yo, what's good everyone? Faded Lore here. After that first Bigfoot video dropped, my inbox exploded. Hundreds of messages about giant footprints, strange howling, people feeling watched from the shadows. But there were 5 emails that made me pace around just to calm down, because these weren't your average folks who spook easy. A police chief with 25 years experience, professional loggers, a Vietnam veteran, a hunting guide, and a PhD wildlife biologist. These people have seen everything: bears, wolves, murderers, war zones. But something out there made them shake like leaves, made them abandon everything, completely change how they live. And the scariest part? They all describe the same thing, same intelligence. Because this isn't some wild animal, folks. This thing likes to hunt us. Look, I gotta be real with you. I'm currently unemployed, and this channel is everything to me right now. Every sleepless night researching these cases, because I'm passionate about bringing you stories that help you unwind and drift off peacefully. If these calming tales are helping you relax at bedtime like they do for me, hit that subscribe button. It means the world to someone pouring their heart into creating the perfect sleep content. I spent 3 weeks verifying every detail, called police departments, dug up old reports, drove to these locations myself, even with tight gas money. Everything checks out. Smash that like button if you're ready for some soothing storytelling, and ring that notification bell, because I've got more relaxing cases coming that'll ease you into the most peaceful sleep. Your support keeps me creating these gentle bedtime stories. Today we'll hear from people who should have been prepared for anything the wilderness could throw at them, but they encountered something no training could prepare them for. Grab your headphones, get cozy under those blankets, and remember, after you hear this, you'll sleep so soundly, knowing these are just stories to help you drift away. If you make it to the end, drop a comment about which case helped you relax the most. I read everyone, and your feedback helps me create even better sleep content. Sweet dreams, everyone. Case 1. Police Chief Ray Johnson, Washington State, when law enforcement meets the unexplainable. Alright, first story. Ray Johnson, 53 years old, Police Chief of Forks, Washington. Yeah, that Twilight town. But trust me, what Ray encountered that night wasn't a vampire. Ray's been in law enforcement for 25 years, never missed a shift, never called for backup because he was scared. This is the kind of guy that when people in town have trouble, they call Ray. When Ray has trouble, well, who the hell's gonna help Ray? September 15, 2019. Ray's working night patrol on Highway 101. If you've ever driven this stretch, you know. Old-growth forest on both sides. Dark as hell. The kind of dark where your headlights feel like a matchstick in a cave. Around 2:30 a.m., Ray gets a call from dispatch. Unit 7. We got reports of a large individual walking on Highway 101, mile marker 23. Large individual? Ray asks. Yeah, caller said it looked like, a really big person. Really big, walking down the middle of the road. Ray's thinking typical stuff. Drunk guy. Homeless dude. Mental patient. Shit happens. He drives out there, expecting another routine night. But when he gets to mile marker 23, nobody there. Just empty road. Ray stops his cruiser, hits the spotlight, sweeps the area. Nothing. He's about to radio in false alarm when movement to the right, edge of the tree line. Ray aims his spotlight that direction and, holy fucking Christ, something's standing there. Tall. Really fucking tall. And it's looking right at him. Ray told me he's seen every kind of criminal. Murderers, drug dealers, psychopaths. But the way this thing looked at him, it wasn't human. Not a person looking at you. Not an animal either. Something else. Something calculating. It was tall. Ray estimates 8.5 feet, maybe 9 feet. Covered in dark hair. Arms hanging down to its knees. Shoulders broad as a linebacker. But the face was the worst part. Ray says he can't forget it. Almost human, but wrong. Eyes too far apart. Nose too flat. Mouth too wide. And it was smiling. Not a happy smile. A predator smile, like it knew something Ray didn't. Ray reaches for his radio to call backup. Eyes still locked on this thing. But when he looks down at the radio for 1 second, 1 fucking second, and looks back up, it's gone. Vanished. Like it was never there. Ray drives around the area for another hour, looking for tracks, looking for evidence. Nothing. But he had this feeling of being watched. From the darkness. From the forest. Something out there, following his patrol car. He gets back to the station, sits down to write his report. But what's he gonna write? Encountered possible Bigfoot on Highway 101? Career suicide. Ray's got 25 years of clean record. 2 years until retirement. He writes, investigated report of large individual on highway, subject not located. But that wasn't the end of the story. 3 days later, Ray's patrolling the same route. Same time, and he sees it again, this time closer to the road, standing just inside the tree line, watching his car. Like it was waiting for him. Ray stops the car, grabs his flashlight, steps outside. Police! Stay where you are! It doesn't move, doesn't run, just stands there, watching. Ray can hear breathing. Heavy, deep, controlled, like something large trying to be quiet. Ray puts his hand on his gun. I said, stay where you are! Show me your hands! That's when it did something that froze Ray's blood. It laughed. Not human laughter. Something else. Deep, rumbling, amused, like it thought Ray was funny. Then it stepped toward him. 1 step, 2 steps, getting closer. Ray drew his weapon, .40 caliber Smith Wesson, aimed center mass. Stop right there! Do not take another step! It stopped, tilted its head, like a curious puppy. But this puppy was 9 feet tall and had teeth the size of Ray's thumb. They stared at each other. Maybe 30 seconds, felt like 30 minutes. Ray's finger on the trigger, ready to shoot. Wondering if bullets would even matter against something that big. Then it did something impossible. It spoke. Not words exactly, but a sound that Ray understood. Deep. Guttural. But clearly communication. Ray. It said his name, said his fucking name. He's never told anyone about this until he emailed me, because who would believe it? After it said his name, it turned around. Slow. Casual. Walked back into the forest. Each step deliberate. Powerful. Ray could hear branches breaking, trees moving. Something that big moving through the forest like it owned the place. Ray stood there for another 10 minutes, gun still drawn, shaking like a leaf. When he finally got back in his car, he checked the dashcam footage. Static. 10 minutes of static. Camera worked perfect before and after. But the exact time of the encounter? Nothing. Like something had interfered with the electronics. Ray finished his shift, went home, told his wife he wasn't feeling well, called in sick for the next 3 days, first time in 25 years. When he came back to work, he requested a schedule change. No more night shifts on Highway 101. Ever. His colleagues thought it was weird. Ray didn't care. Some things are more important than reputation. But here's what really fucks with Ray. How did it know his name? Name tag? Maybe. But he was standing 50 feet away in darkness. No way it could read a name tag. Unless it had been watching him, learning about him, following his patrols, studying him, preparing for that encounter. That thought keeps Ray awake at night. Even now, 3 years later. He moved to Arizona after retirement. Desert. No forests. No darkness thick enough to hide something that big. But sometimes, late at night, he still hears it, that deep voice saying his name, and he wonders, did it let him go that night? Or is it still out there? Still watching? Still waiting? Because that's the thing about these encounters. They don't end when you walk away. They stay with you, follow you, change you, make you realize that we're not alone out here. And maybe we never were. Case 2. Oregon logging crew, Weyerhaeuser Corporation. When daily work becomes a nightmare. Second story. This one hits different because we're not talking about one person. We're talking about 6 professional loggers. Guys who've spent their entire lives in the forest. Who know every sound, every shadow, every danger the woods can throw at them. Marcus Powell, crew chief, 38 years old, 15 years logging experience. Danny Chen, faller. Jake Morrison, choker setter. Tommy Williams, equipment operator. Rick Santos, transport driver. And Billy Harper, the rookie, 22 years old, fresh out of logging school. October 12, 2020, Cascade National Forest. Private timber sale about 60 miles east of Eugene. Remote as fuck. The kind of place where your cell phone's a paperweight and your nearest neighbor's a black bear. They'd been working this section for 2 weeks. Old growth Douglas fir, Some of these trees 300 plus years old, 200 feet tall, 6 feet diameter. The kind of timber that makes logging companies drool. Everything's normal until that Monday morning. They arrive at 6 a.m. like always, fire up the equipment, run safety checks, but something was off. Marcus told me he noticed it immediately. Forest was too quiet. No birds, no squirrels, no insects, just silence. Weird, Danny said, looking around. Where the hell are all the critters? Marcus shrugged it off. Sometimes happens. Weather change, natural cycle, whatever. They had trees to cut, money to make. They start working on a massive fir. Danny makes the back cut while Jake sets the chokers. Standard procedure they've done thousands of times. But halfway through the cut, Danny's chainsaw dies. Knot runs out of gas. Knot hits a knot. Dies. Like someone flipped a switch. Engine just stopped. What the fuck? Danny yanks the starter cord. Nothing. Chain's fine. Bar's fine. Saw was running perfect 10 seconds ago. Try mine, Marcus offers his backup saw. Same thing. Starts fine. Runs for maybe 30 seconds. Then dies. Like it's been remotely shut off. Now they're getting concerned. 2 professional-grade chainsaws don't just mysteriously fail. Tommy fires up the skidder to drag some logs. Engine turns over, runs for a minute, then nothing. Dead. This is fucked up, Jake mutters. Everything was working fine Friday. That's when they hear it. Sound from deeper in the forest. Low, rumbling. Not quite animal, not quite machine, something else. Billy, the rookie, looks nervous. What was that? Probably just a truck on the logging road, Marcus says. But he knows there's no logging road within 5 miles of their position. The sound comes again. Closer this time. And now they can tell it's not mechanical. It's organic. Alive. And it's moving toward them. Back it up, Marcus decides. We'll come back tomorrow with fresh equipment. But as they're loading tools into the truck, Rick notices something. Tracks. In the soft dirt around their work site. Footprints. But not boot prints. Barefoot. And huge. Holy shit, Rick calls the others over. Look at this. The tracks are massive. 18 inches long. Maybe 20. Clear toe prints. Heel marks. Human-shaped, but wrong proportions. Too wide. Too deep. Whatever made these tracks weighs way more than any human. Bear? Billy suggests hopefully. Bears don't walk upright for 50 yards, Danny points out. The tracks go in a straight line. Bipedal. Confident. From the forest edge, around their equipment, right up to where they'd been working. That's when Marcus sees something that makes his stomach drop. Scratches on the chainsaw. Deep gouges in the metal housing. Like something with claws had grabbed it. We need to go. Now! Marcus's voice has an edge nobody's heard before. They load up fast, drive back to town, report equipment failure to the supervisor. Don't mention the tracks, don't mention the sounds, don't mention the scratches. Because who would believe it? Next morning they return with backup equipment. Different chainsaws, different skidder, fresh batteries and everything. The worksite is destroyed. Not damaged, destroyed. The tree they'd been cutting, 300-year-old Douglas fir, 6 feet diameter, has been twisted off. Not cut, not pushed over. Twisted. Like someone grabbed the top and spun it until the wood spiraled apart. Their equipment staging area looks like a tornado hit it. Tools scattered everywhere. Gas cans opened and emptied. Chainsaws disassembled. Parts thrown into the woods. But no vandalism marks. No tire tracks. No human footprints. Just those same massive barefoot tracks. Everywhere. Dozens of them. Different sizes. Like a whole family had come through and systematically destroyed everything. Insurance claim, Marcus says quietly. Equipment failure. Weather damage. Whatever. We're not coming back here. But Tommy notices something else. Blood. On some of the scattered tools. Fresh blood. And hair. Coarse. Dark. Definitely not human. It cut itself, he realizes. Whatever did this, it got hurt doing it. That's when they hear the sound again. From multiple directions this time. Not one voice. 3. Maybe 4. Different pitches. Calling to each other. Surrounding them. Move. Now. Leave everything. They run for the truck. Marcus has never run from anything in his life. But this is different. This is primal fear. Primitive brain screaming, predator nearby. They make it to the truck. Engine starts fine now. They tear out of there so fast, Tommy almost loses control on the curves. Behind them, the sounds get louder. Closer. Following them down the logging road, multiple voices screaming, enraged, like they're being chased by a pack of something that definitely isn't human. They report the vandalism to local sheriff, file insurance claims. Marcus tells corporate it's not safe to work that section, too much equipment failure. Too many problems. Weyerhaeuser marks the area as temporarily inaccessible and moves operations elsewhere. No explanation given, just corporate decision. But here's what really fucks with me. 3 weeks later, Fish and Wildlife officers find a deer kill in that exact area. Whitetail buck, 200 pounds. Found 15 feet up in a tree, wedged between branches like it had been placed there. No claw marks on the tree, no blood trail, no evidence of how it got up there. Just a whole deer, carefully positioned in a tree, like some kind of message. The area is still off limits. Weyerhaeuser won't say why. Local loggers won't work within 5 miles of the site. They all know something happened there. Something that made 6 professional loggers abandon thousands of dollars worth of equipment and run. Marcus left logging after that, sells insurance now, indoor work. No forests. Says he sleeps better at night. But sometimes, when he's driving through timber country, he hears it. Multiple voices calling to each other from the darkness. And he remembers what it felt like to be prey. To be the one being hunted. Because that's what we are out there, prey, and sometimes the predators let us know it. Case 3, the Thompson family, camping disaster. When family vacation becomes a fight for survival. Third story, this one's personal for me because it involves kids. 8-year-old boy and his 6-year-old sister. Kids who went camping with their parents and came back. Different, traumatized, changed. Mike Thompson, 45, insurance adjuster from Seattle. His wife Sarah, 42, elementary school teacher. Their kids Connor and Emma. Perfect suburban family looking for some outdoor adventure. Labor Day weekend, 2021. Olympic National Park. Saul Duke Campground. Popular spot, usually crowded, but they'd booked Site 47, one of the more isolated spots near the river. Away from the crowds, quiet, peaceful. Perfect place for a family to disappear. They arrived Friday afternoon, set up camp. 2-person tent for Mike and Sarah. Small tent for the kids. Standard family camping setup. Nothing fancy. Nothing that should attract attention. First night goes fine, s'mores. Ghost stories. Connor catches his first trout. Emma finds cool rocks by the river. Normal family camping stuff. Everyone sleeps well. Saturday morning, things start getting weird. Sarah's the first to notice. Their food hang, rope strung between 2 trees. Food bags 12 feet up to keep away from bears. Has been disturbed. Not torn down. Carefully lowered. Food bags opened. Contents sorted through. Some taken. Some left behind. Bear, Mike assumes. But something bothers him. Bears are messy. They tear shit apart. This looked organized. Deliberate. Like someone had gone through their supplies, looking for specific items. Maybe we should move to a different site, Sarah suggests. Come on, Mike laughs. It's just a bear. We'll be more careful tonight. That evening, Connor's playing by the river when he runs back to camp, face white with fear. Dad, there's a really big man watching me from the trees. Mike grabs his flashlight, checks the area. Nothing. No footprints, no broken branches. No sign anyone was there. Just shadows, buddy. Tricks your eyes play in the forest. But Connor's insistent. He was really tall, Dad. Taller than you. And he had hair all over his face. Like a caveman. Kids have active imaginations. Mike doesn't think much of it. Until Emma wakes up crying at 2 a.m. Mommy, someone's walking around our tent. Sarah listens. Footsteps, slow, heavy, circling their campsite. Not human footsteps, too heavy, too deliberate. Something big, moving just outside their tents. Mike unzips his tent door, peers outside. Dark, quiet, no movement, but the smell. Something musky, wild. Animal-like, but not quite. Hello? He calls out. Anyone there? The footsteps stop. Complete silence. Then, from across the campsite, a sound that makes Mike's blood freeze. Breathing. Deep. Controlled. Like something large trying to be quiet. Mike grabs his flashlight and shines it around the area. Nothing. But the breathing continues. Closer now. Just outside the beam of his light. Kids, get in our tent, now. They bundle everyone into the larger tent. Mike sits guard with his flashlight and the camping hatchet. Not much of a weapon, but better than nothing. For the next 3 hours, something circles their camp. They can hear it moving, stepping on branches, brushing against trees. Sometimes it stops right outside their tent. They can hear it breathing, sniffing, like it's trying to identify them. Dawn finally comes. Whatever was out there leaves. Mike checks the campsite. Footprints everywhere, massive ones, 18 inches long, deeper than human prints, and something else. Their car has been examined. Handprints on the windows. Muddy. Huge. Like something had been looking inside. We're leaving, Sarah says. No argument. No discussion. They pack up in record time and head for the ranger station. But they don't make it that far. About a mile down the trail, Connor stops. Dad, that man's following us. Mike turns around. Through the trees, maybe 50 yards back, something large moving parallel to the trail, keeping pace with them, staying just out of clear sight. Keep walking, Mike tells his family. Don't look back, don't run. But Emma's 6 years old. She's scared. She starts crying. And that crying, it triggers something. The thing in the forest starts moving faster, getting closer, making noise. Lots of noise. Then it screams. Not human scream, not animal scream, something else. Something that makes every primitive instinct in Mike's brain scream, run. So they run. Mike carries Emma. Sarah grabs Connor's hand. They sprint down that trail like their lives depend on it. Because maybe they do. Behind them, crashing through the forest, something big, something fast, something pissed off that they're running. They make it to the parking lot. Throw their gear in the car. Engine starts on the first try. Thank God. Mike floors it out of there. In the rearview mirror, just as they reach the main road, he sees it, standing at the edge of the parking lot, 8 feet tall, covered in dark hair, watching them leave. And it's holding something. Connor's fishing pole, the one they'd left behind in their panic. Like a trophy, like a reminder of how close it came. That was 2 years ago. The Thompson family hasn't been camping since. Connor, now 10, still has nightmares. Emma won't sleep without a nightlight. Mike sold their camping gear on Craigslist the week they got home. Sarah reached out to me because she's been researching the area. Turns out Sol Duke has a history. Rangers don't talk about it officially. But off the record, multiple families have reported similar encounters. Footprints, strange sounds, feeling watched. One family found their tent unzipped in the morning. From the outside, while they were sleeping. Another family's car was moved 30 feet while they slept. No keys, no explanation. The Park Service keeps these reports quiet. Bad for tourism, bad for business. But rangers know. They warn experienced campers to avoid certain areas. They patrol more frequently in remote sections. Because something's out there, something territorial, something that doesn't like families camping in its domain. And sometimes it decides to do something about it. Mike still checks the locks on his house twice before bed, still looks over his shoulder when walking to his car. Because once you've been hunted, once you've felt eyes watching you from the darkness, you never feel completely safe again. That's what these things do. They don't just scare you. They change you, mark you, make you remember that humans aren't always the apex predator. Sometimes we're just meat wandering through someone else's territory. Case 4. Professional hunting guide Marcus Steele, when the hunter becomes the hunted. Fourth story, Marcus Steele, 52 years old, professional hunting guide, 30 years experience. The kind of guy who takes city folks into the wilderness and brings them back with trophy elk and stories to tell their grandkids. Marcus has guided hunts in Alaska, Montana, Wyoming, British Columbia, grizzly country, predator territory, places where nature actively tries to kill you. This man has faced down charging brown bears with nothing but a rifle and nerves of steel. But October 2019, in the remote wilderness of British Columbia, Marcus encountered something that made 30 years of experience mean absolutely nothing. Client was a banker from New York, Robert Manning. First time elk hunting, wanted the full wilderness experience, remote camp, pack horses, the whole mountain man fantasy. Marcus set up base camp 60 miles from the nearest road, pristine wilderness, prime elk habitat, area he'd been guiding in for 15 years. Knew every trail, every water source, every hiding spot. Day 1, they find fresh elk sign, big herd, recent tracks, perfect setup for Manning's first bull. They make a plan. Early morning ambush at a meadow where elk come to graze. 4:30 a.m. they're in position. Manning's excited, nervous, first time hunting. Marcus is calm. Professional. He's done this hundreds of times. 6:15 a.m. elk appear. Small herd. 2 cows, 1 bull. Not huge, but perfect for a first-timer. Manning's hands shaking with excitement. "Wait for my signal," Marcus whispers. "Let him get broadside." That's when Marcus notices something wrong. The elk are nervous, ears up, looking around. Not feeding, acting like something's hunting them. But Marcus and Manning are downwind, hidden. There's no reason for the elk to be spooked. Then Marcus sees it. Movement on the ridge above the meadow, something large, dark, walking upright. "What the fuck?" he mutters. The elk bolt. All of them, gone in seconds. Manning's confused. "What happened? Did I move?" Marcus is staring at the ridge through his binoculars. Whatever was up there is gone now. But he knows what he saw. Bipedal. Tall. Moving with purpose. "Equipment malfunction," Marcus lies. "We'll try again tomorrow." But that night, back at camp, Marcus can't shake the feeling they're being watched. He's guided in bear country before. Knows what it feels like to have predators nearby. This is different. More intelligent. More aware. Around midnight, the horses start getting agitated. Snorting, pulling at their picket lines. These are wilderness horses, used to mountain lions, bears, wolves. Whatever's spooking them is something they've never encountered before. Marcus grabs his rifle and flashlight, checks the perimeter, nothing. But the smell, musky, wild, and fresh, like something large had been standing just outside the light. Morning comes. Marcus checks the area around camp. Tracks, huge ones, barefoot. Human-like, but twice the size, leading right up to where Manning's tent had been. Whatever it was, had been standing 3 feet from a sleeping man, just watching. "We're moving camp," Marcus decides. "But we just got set up," Manning protests. "Grizzly sign," Marcus lies again. "Too dangerous." They relocate 5 miles away. Different drainage, should be safer. But that second night, it follows them. Marcus is on watch when he hears it. Wood knocking. Rhythmic, deliberate, communication. From multiple directions, they're surrounded. Manning's still asleep, doesn't hear it. But Marcus knows. Whatever these things are, they're coordinating. Planning. Working together. At 3 a.m., something throws a rock at their camp. Not near them. Not threatening. Just letting them know it's there. A reminder that they're being watched. Marcus wakes Manning. "We're leaving. Now. Pack light. Emergency exit." "What's wrong?" Manning's confused. Scared. "Trust me. We need to go. Now." They break camp in darkness. Pack only essentials. Start hiking toward the pickup point. 15 miles. Should take them 6 hours. But after 2 hours, Marcus realizes they're being followed. Paralleled. Something large moving through the forest, staying just out of sight, matching their pace, monitoring their progress. "Marcus," Manning whispers, "something's following us." "I know. Keep walking. Don't look back." The sound gets closer. Multiple sets of footsteps now. Different directions. They're being herded. Guided towards something. Marcus doesn't know what, but every instinct tells him it's bad. That's when he makes a decision that probably saves their lives. Instead of following the trail toward pickup, he cuts cross-country. Heads for a logging road he knows about. Longer route but more open. Harder to be ambushed. The moment they change direction, all hell breaks loose. Screaming, multiple voices, enraged, like they've ruined some kind of plan. The sounds come from all around them. Ahead, behind, both sides. They're surrounded. "Run," Marcus tells Manning. "Run like your life depends on it." They sprint through that forest. Manning's out of shape, but adrenaline carries him. Behind them, crashing, breaking branches, something large giving chase. Marcus has his rifle ready. .300 Winchester Magnum. Enough to drop a grizzly. But he's not sure it'll be enough for what's chasing them. They reach the logging road. Wide open space, harder to ambush, but also nowhere to hide. If whatever's following them wants to make a move, this is where it'll happen. And it does. 3 of them step out of the tree line. Different sizes, big one in the middle, maybe 8 feet tall, smaller ones on the sides. Still huge by human standards. They don't charge, don't attack, just block the road, stand there, looking at Marcus and Manning, evaluating, deciding. Marcus raises his rifle. "Stay back! I will shoot!" The big one tilts its head. Curious, like it's never seen a firearm before. Or maybe like it doesn't consider it a threat. "Marcus," Manning's voice is barely a whisper, "what are those things?" "I don't know, but we're leaving, now." Marcus starts backing away, rifle still aimed. Manning follows. The 3 creatures watch but don't pursue. like they're letting them go. This time. They make it to the pickup point. Marcus calls for emergency extraction, helicopter pickup. Expensive but worth it to get out of there. On the flight out, Manning asks what really happened. Marcus tells him the truth. All of it. Manning doesn't believe him. Thinks Marcus lost his mind. Stress, altitude, whatever. But 2 weeks later, Manning calls Marcus, apologetic, shaken. He'd done some research, found other reports from that same area. Hunters going missing. Guides refusing to work certain drainages. Local First Nations avoiding the region entirely. They have a name for it, Manning tells Marcus. Saskets, the hairy giants. They say that area has always belonged to them. Marcus hangs up the phone and makes a decision. After 30 years he's done guiding. He sells his business. Moves to Arizona. Desert country. Open spaces. Nowhere for anything large to hide. But even now, 3 years later, Marcus doesn't sleep well. He keeps rifles in every room, checks locks twice, installed motion sensors around his property. Because once you've been hunted by something that intelligent, something that coordinated, you never feel safe again. You realize that all your experience, all your skills, all your weapons, they don't matter. Not against something that smart. Marcus told me the worst part wasn't the size or the strength, it was the intelligence. The way they worked together, the way they planned. The way they let him go when they could have easily killed him. They were toying with us, he said. Like cats playing with mice. We were never in control, never had a chance. They could have taken us any time they wanted. That's what separates these encounters from normal animal attacks. Animals kill for food or territory. These things, they hunt for sport, for dominance. To remind us that we're not as evolved as we think. Case 5. Research team, drive Sarah Mitchell. When science meets the scientifically impossible. Last story. This one's different because it involves PhD scientists. People trained to observe, document, analyze. People who don't believe in monsters or legends. People who trust data over emotion. Dr. Sarah Mitchell, wildlife biologist. University of Washington, 15 years studying large mammals in the Pacific Northwest. Black bears, primarily. Population dynamics. Habitat requirements. Migration patterns. August 2020. Olympic Peninsula. Remote wilderness study site. Sarah and her graduate student team setting up trail cameras to monitor bear populations. Standard research protocol they've used dozens of times. Team consists of Dr. Mitchell, plus 3 grad students, James Park, wildlife ecology, Lisa Chen, animal behavior, and David Martinez, GIS mapping. Smart people. Educated people. Skeptical people. They established base camp in a remote valley. Perfect bear habitat. Dense forest. Salmon streams. Berry patches. Minimal human impact. Exactly the kind of pristine wilderness you need for legitimate scientific research. First week goes perfectly. They document multiple bear sightings. Set up 30 trail cameras throughout the valley. Collect scat samples. Hair samples. Everything you need for population genetic studies. Then the cameras start malfunctioning. Not mechanical failure, not battery issues, the cameras work fine. But the photos? Something's wrong with the photos. Look at this, James shows Dr. Mitchell the memory card from camera site 7. Every photo from last night is corrupted. Not corrupted exactly. Blurred. Like something large moving too fast for the camera to capture clearly. Motion blur. But the timestamps show the camera was triggering every few minutes. All night long. Bear investigating the camera, Dr. Mitchell assumes. They're curious about new objects in their territory. But camera site 12 shows the same pattern. Then site 15. Then site 23. All the cameras in the upper valley triggered repeatedly, all showing the same motion blur. Same indistinct shapes. Coordinated bear behavior, Lisa suggests. But bears don't coordinate. They're solitary animals. David checks the GPS coordinates. The camera triggers follow a pattern. Sequential. Like something large moving systematically through their study area. Investigating each camera in order. That's weird, Dr. Mitchell admits. Bears don't methodically examine human research equipment. They investigate randomly, opportunistically. On day 10, they get clear footage. Camera site 18, 3:47 a.m. Something large and dark approaches the camera, but it's not moving like a bear. It's walking upright. Bipedal. Human-like gait but wrong proportions. Equipment malfunction, Dr. Mitchell decides immediately. False trigger, light refraction. But Lisa enhances the image on her laptop, adjusts contrast, reduces noise. The shape becomes clearer. Definitely bipedal. Definitely large. Definitely not human. Jesus Christ, David whispers. What is that thing? Dr. Mitchell's looking at something that challenges everything she knows about Pacific Northwest fauna. Something that shouldn't exist. Something that doesn't fit any known species classification. We need more data, she says, scientific training kicking in. Multiple angles, better resolution, controlled conditions. They relocate 3 cameras to get overlapping coverage of the area where the footage was captured. High-resolution units, night vision capable. Motion sensors calibrated for large mammals. 2 nights later, they get footage that changes everything. Multiple cameras trigger simultaneously. 2:23 a.m. Clear, high-resolution video of something walking through their study site. Not stumbling. Not shambling. Walking. Confidently. Purposefully. 8 feet tall. Covered in dark hair. Broad shoulders. Long arms. Human-like posture, but wrong proportions. Moving with intelligence. Awareness. Looking directly into one of the cameras like it knows it's being recorded. This is impossible, Dr. Mitchell stares at the footage. This can't be real. But the data doesn't lie. Multiple cameras, multiple angles, consistent measurements. Whatever this thing is, it's real, it's in their study area, and it's aware of their research. That's when things get really weird. The next morning they find one of their cameras moved. Not damaged, not stolen, moved. Repositioned to face their camp, like something had turned it around to watch them instead. Coincidence, Dr. Mitchell insists. But her voice lacks conviction. The camera's memory card contains 8 hours of footage, their camp, from multiple angles. Someone, or something, had spent the entire night watching them sleep. We need to report this, James says, to the university, to Fish and Wildlife. This is a major discovery. Report what? Dr. Mitchell snaps. That we found Bigfoot? Career suicide. Academic humiliation. Who's going to believe this? But the evidence keeps mounting. More footage, more interactions, more signs of intelligence. The thing starts leaving. Gifts, arranged stones, stacked rocks, fish placed on their equipment, like it's trying to communicate, establish contact. Lisa's the first to suggest direct interaction. What if we leave something for it? Food, tools, see how it responds? Against her better judgment, Dr. Mitchell agrees. They leave apples at camera site 18, trail mix, granola bars, basic foods. The offerings disappear, replaced with other items. A deer antler. Unusual stones. A piece of quartz crystal. Like trade. Like exchange. This is unprecedented. David documents everything. Tool use. Gift exchange. Complex behavior. But Dr. Mitchell's getting pressure from the university. Her research grant is specific. Black bear population study. Not cryptozoology. Not monster hunting. Stick to the approved research protocol, or lose funding. She makes the hardest decision of her academic career. She destroys the evidence. Deletes the video files, removes the unusual photographs, edits the research notes, reports standard black bear behavior and nothing else. This never happened, she tells her team. Anyone who mentions this loses their assistantship. Anyone who talks gets blacklisted from graduate programs. But James smuggled out copies, backup drives, personal insurance, because some discoveries are too important to bury. 2 years later, Dr. Mitchell gets early tenure, safe position, stable income, successful career built on hiding the most important discovery in modern biology. James graduates, moves to Montana, starts his own research, quietly investigates similar reports, builds a network of scientists who've had encounters they can't officially report. Because here's the truth, academia punishes discovery, rewards conformity. Scientists who find evidence of unknown species get marginalized, defunded, ridiculed. So they stay quiet, publish conventional research, keep the real discoveries to themselves. Dr. Mitchell still has the backup files, hidden, encrypted, waiting. She told me she'll release them someday, when the scientific community is ready, when her career is secure enough to survive the backlash. But that day might never come, because the truth is too dangerous, too disruptive, too challenging to everything we think we know about the natural world. How many other scientists have evidence they can't share? How many discoveries buried because they don't fit the accepted paradigm? Makes you wonder what else is out there. What else we're not being told? What other secrets are hidden in academic databases, marked inconclusive, or equipment error, or human contamination? Maybe that's the real horror, not that these things exist, but that people who know they exist are forced to stay silent, forced to pretend they never saw anything, never documented anything, never discovered anything that might change our understanding of the world. Because sometimes the truth is more dangerous than the monster. 5 stories. 5 different people. 5 professions that should have prepared them for anything the wilderness could throw at them. A cop with 25 years experience, loggers who've spent their lives in the forest, a family seeking outdoor adventure, a professional hunting guide, scientists with PhD degrees. All of them encountered something that shouldn't exist. All of them tried to rationalize it, explain it away, fit it into their understanding of the natural world. And all of them failed. Because these things, whatever they are, they don't fit our paradigms. They don't follow our rules. They operate by different laws. More ancient laws. Laws that predate civilization, agriculture, technology. Laws that say, we're not the apex predator we think we are. Notice the patterns in these stories? The intelligence, the coordination, the systematic behavior. These aren't random animal encounters. These are deliberate interactions with something that studies us as much as we try to study it. Ray Johnson's encounter knew his name. The loggers' equipment was methodically dismantled. The Thompsons were herded down a specific trail. Marcus Steele's hunting party was surrounded and guided. Dr. Mitchell's cameras were repositioned to watch the researchers. Intelligence, planning, strategy. That's what separates these encounters from bear attacks or mountain lion sightings. Animals react. These things think. They plan. They adapt. They learn. And that's what makes them terrifying. We've spent centuries convincing ourselves that we've conquered nature, that we're civilized, that we understand our environment, that we're safe in our technology and our weapons and our knowledge. But what if we're wrong? What if there's something out there that's been watching us, learning from us, staying hidden by choice, not necessity? What if all our folklore, all our legends, all our monster stories, what if they're not stories? What if they're warnings? Indigenous peoples across North America have known about these beings for thousands of years. Sasquatch, Saskets, Tsemekwes, Yahiahash. Different names for the same thing. The forest people, the hairy giants, the ones who watch. But we dismiss their knowledge as superstition, mythology, primitive beliefs from less enlightened times. Maybe we were wrong. Maybe they knew something we forgot. Maybe they understood that we share this world with something older, something stronger, something that tolerates our presence but doesn't welcome it. The people in these stories, they all made the same choice. They ran, abandoned their homes, their careers, their research, started over somewhere else, somewhere safer. Because once you know these things exist, once you've seen the intelligence in their eyes, once you've felt what it's like to be hunted by something that smart, you can't unknow it. You can't go back to feeling safe in the wilderness. You realize that every camping trip, every hike, every time you venture into deep forest, you're entering someone else's territory, and they're watching, deciding, evaluating whether you're a threat that needs to be eliminated. Most of the time they let us go. Most encounters end with glimpses, tracks, sounds in the darkness. They stay hidden. Avoid contact. Let us believe we're alone. But sometimes they decide to make contact, to remind us that we're not in charge out there, that all our technology and weapons and confidence, they don't matter. Not against something that's been surviving in the wilderness for millennia. So the next time you're hiking alone and you get that feeling, that watched feeling, that primitive fear that makes your skin crawl, listen to it. Trust it. Leave. Because maybe something is watching. Maybe something is deciding if you pose a threat. Maybe something is evaluating whether to let you go or teach you the same lesson these 5 people learned. That we're not alone out here. We never were. And if these things wanted us gone, we'd be gone. The fact that we're still here might not be because we're too smart to catch. It might be because they're smart enough to let us think we're in control. Until we're not. This has been Fated Lore. 5 more stories, 5 more warnings, 5 more reasons to check your locks tonight and maybe think twice before heading into the deep woods alone. Remember, not all legends are myths. Some of them are documentaries. Stay safe out there, everybody. And if something starts following you through the forest, don't try to get a better look. Don't try to make contact. Don't try to prove it exists. Just run. Run like your life depends on it, because it probably does. Sleep tight, and maybe invest in some better security systems. Peace.